Welcome to Transit Unplugged. I'm Paul Comfort, host of the world's #1 public transportation executive podcast. Today, I'm excited to talk with Frank Annicaro. Frank is CEO of the transit system in Albany, New York. It's called Capital District Transportation Authority, and that's the capital of the state of New York. And of course, we know New York City is the largest transit system in America by far, and that's where Frank came from. He spent over 20 years there, working his way up to the head of bus. And now, just over a year ago, he transitioned to the GM role, the CEO role in Albany. And today he talks about what that transition was like. And we dive into what that transition is like for people who make it from a large operation to become the top position, the CEO, what that's like. Also, he stepped into the shoes of a longtime CEO, Carm Basile, who's much beloved and well-known, and he took the agency to become the APTA winner of the year for the best mid-sized transit agency a few years ago. And so talks about what that transition was like and how they have dealt with the fiscal cliff. I think you'll find this a great conversation with Frank Annicaro here on our video Transit Unplugged podcast. Enjoy. You're the CEO of the transit system there. It's called Capital District Transportation Authority because it's the capital, Albany, right? Some people across the world might think New York City's the capital of the state, but it's not. It's Albany.
It's not. And Albany is the capital. And, you know, we cover the CDTA, the acronym. We cover 6-county service, and this is the capital region. Yeah. So
gotcha.
We're hoping that people fund it like that too. So
that's right. Yeah. Tell me about the service some. Let's, dive into what type of services you have, number of employees, those type of things.
Yeah. So we're primarily, we're all surface, right? CDTA operates in 6 counties in the capital region, right? And our core service is bus service, right? We have bus, regular BRT, regular trunk routes and neighborhood routes, and we have some express routes. We do operate 2 train stations. The Rensselaer train station, which is the Joseph L. Bruno train station, which is serviced by Amtrak. We own and operate it, though, and that's the 8th busiest train station in the country. We also own and operate a small train station up in Saratoga County, Saratoga train station. Yeah, and we cover 3,400 square miles. You know, primarily, though, the core is within 150 square miles, right? We have a lot of sprawl here. But we have a lot of innovative services here, right? That's what really brought me here. We have, again, we have our bus service, but we have Flex is our microtransit service. We operate a bike share program. I think it's probably the best in the country. We're in our 10th year here. Obviously, we operate a paratransit service, and we also do a car share program. DRIVE is the acronym for it. So it's a car share program. So, we like to think we really got it covered and continue to expand so we can meet the needs, not only for, those folks who are looking to get around from county to county, but also the folks who, may not, they're on the fence. Do I really need a car, right? I don't use a car much. I don't need to get around, but every once in a while we need a car. Well, we have that car program.
How does that work? I'm not familiar with that, car share with a transit agency.
Yeah, so through some, very thoughtful grant funding, right? And we've paired up with DOT. We're in our 4th year. It's, we have cars distributed. I think it's into 4 of our cities now. And it's for a really, really reasonable rate. You have to register. You have to have a credit card, and you can get the car for like $5 an hour, right?
Is it like a zip car where you just find it and you...
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's got it. We have specific locations where charges are at. But again, you just go there. As long as you have a credit card, you sign up for a one-time fee, and now you could use the card. Now you got to book it, obviously, because it's pretty popular. Folks really like it.
$5 an hour.
Yeah, it's like $5 an hour. It's very affordable.
And they're electric cars?
They're all electric. They are. Yep, they're all electric, and they're branded nice. They're called Drive.
Yeah. So if I wanted to do that, let's say I come into town to Albany and I'm a traveler, could I register ahead of time, or do I have to live there, or how does that work?
Oh, no, you could register ahead of time. You can go on our go CDTA.org and go on there, go into our navigator and sign up for it. Yeah,
that's pretty cool, man.
Book a car. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's really innovative, and it's of course, we're a victim of our own success with the right. More so, but
it's a lot cheaper than renting a car, like from a regular rental agency.
And again, it's folks may need that car once in a while get to a certain area, and it's it gives them the ability to have a car without have to own a car. But we're
Tell
really
me-
proud of that. So
yeah, you should be. That's awesome. How about bike share? You said you think you have the best in the nation. Explain that.
I do. So we have it's a partnership, right? We call it the CDPHP cycle, right? So CDPHP is one of our local partners who's a healthcare provider, right? We partner with them. We have over 600 bikes throughout the region, the 6-county region, and most of them now we're getting more and more electric bikes. Some people think that's exercise, I guess. I don't know, but it's electric bike, but it's very popular. We just celebrated our 10th year, and actually 2 weeks ago we booked our 500,000th ride.
Wow.
So we're saving a lot of emissions. We're burning a lot of calories, and it's ultra popular. And it's not only about truly it's connectivity, right, to the fitness route, but also it's just for recreation, and people really love it. So it's and I think it's great only because recently the New York State Assembly we're looking to pass some laws or create some laws around e-bikes and classification because especially in the density in New York City they're struggling, right? There's some incidents with them, right? And CDTA was asked to come in and testify to the assembly because we're known as like the leader in this. And I was proud to be able to say like many of the incidents that folks are having, knock on wood, we don't because we have such a really tight control program. So yeah, I think we are the industry leader for sure.
That's interesting. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your agency, number of employees, budget, those kind of things.
Yeah. So we have about 800 employees, probably about 125 of that are authority staff. And then most are rank and file, frontline employees. Last year, fiscal year 2026, which just ended, was a $147 million budget. This year, the board recently approved $143 million budget. So we actually reduced our budget by about 3%. And yeah, I mentioned it earlier, 3,400 square miles. We're 6-county now. Yeah, it's a pretty innovative place. I've been here about 13 months now, and I tell you what, I'm not looking back. I'm really excited about this move, and there's a lot of good things on the horizon.
Yeah, tell me about your career. What did you do prior to this, and how did you end up here?
So back in that way, I spent almost 22 years at New York City Transit. And, before leaving New York City Transit to take on this role, I was the senior vice president for bus operations. So I was in that role for approximately 3 years, which was really an immense role. It was a great learning experience. But prior to that, I held many progressive positions through New York City Transit. I actually started my career early on as a mechanic. I went to automotive and diesel technology school, went right into the transportation logistics end of the business. And within a year and a half doing it, wrenching, realized I wanted more. And then, leadership in those companies realized I had a lot more to give. And I just progressively went through the ranks there, through that organization. And then, ultimately, after about working through with Ryder MLS, was a logistics company, did some time with waste management. And then I went, saw New York City Transit, was really interested in public transportation at that point, right, rather than logistics. And yeah, I started back in 2003 with New York City Transit, and then spent my career there till now.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's great, man. And you stayed in state. That's good. How is your agency governed there in Albany? Do you have like a board of directors or?
Yeah. We have board of directors. We have it's a 12-seat board of directors, right? And there's, depending on the county, 1 or 2 seats, and we have a board of directors, and we have committees, right? We have board of operations committee, performance monitoring committees, planning committees, and then community stakeholder committees. So yeah, it's a really tight governance here. You probably know Dave Stackrow, who was APTA. He was the chair of APTA. Dave is one of the longest, I think the longest standing, over 30 years as a board member here. And I like, again, I'm a little biased, but I think we have a great board here, and it's really a high achieving, productive board. So yeah.
Tell me about the transition from going from New York MTA to CDTA. How was that?
All right. So I think I could summarize it by in New York MTA, where I had, we had 18,000 bus employees, 5,800 buses, right? And just New York City, right? It is the be all end all, right? Yeah. So it was with that, you have to be in your lane. So I was what I'd say an inch deep and a mile wide, right?
Okay.
But coming to CDTA, it's the opposite, right? It's maybe an inch wide, but a mile deep. There's big
Interesting.
difference, right? I learned a lot at New York City Transit. Wouldn't give that experience up for anything in the world. But now stepping into this role, you're the chief cook and bottle washer, right? It's less of an operating focus, right? And more of a CEO, deep looking down into all the aspects of the operation, but really the community, the funding part of it, the governance of it. It's a big change. A lot of people still say to me, hey, coming from such a big organization, New York City Transit, and stepping into this role must be easy. No, absolutely not, because there's a lot more hats you have to wear here. But, you continue to learn every day, and it's great. It's very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I was just coaching a young leader who was promoted to general manager somewhere, and he was telling me that he was, prior to that, responsible for one area of responsibility, kind of like you're saying, and then to be made the general manager and to be over a lot. He said, Paul, I got people coming at me from every angle, always, about every different topic. And so I can never really focus on one thing. I got to go to the next thing, It's kind of a different animal, right?
It is. It's a completely different dynamic, but it's one of those still watch out what you wish for. In the past positions when, you weren't in control of certain things, you may have had, sort of preconceived notions and opinions, but now you're it. So it's well, if you're you got to do something about it, right? So it's good. It's a double-edged sword, but it's a total different experience. But I'm very happy. I'm elated that I did this. So
that's great, man. Yeah, it's a lot of us have spent some of our career complaining about how things were done, and these idiots don't know what they're, telling me to do, et cetera. Well, then step up, put up, right? Put up or shut up, right? Step up when the opportunity comes, step up into leadership. If you do, I always felt like I knew what to do from being a young kid. I've been doing this now almost 40 years, and I always felt like I knew what to do. And so I was always willing to take the next step up the ladder, always held my hand up and said, yes, give me more responsibility. I know what to do. I can make it go well. And it didn't go great all the time, but you put yourself on the line. It takes a sense of audacity in some respects, I think, to step into a general manager or CEO role. And then you get hit with the fact that, this is very, very different, right? I talk about that in my book, Find Your X Factor, that a lot of times people get promoted into these big supervisory roles and they don't get the proper training and acclimation to it. They may give them, here's how you do the payroll, here's how you do, some ordering, things like that. But the whole concept of leading people and getting people to do things, it's very different than project management, isn't it?
Absolutely. 1,000%. And it's all about people, right? It's all about the leadership skills. And, and these positions, as you know, it's less about, the task-driven things and what you know how to do, what programs you need to. It's about getting the right people at the helm, right? And making sure that everybody's operating, with the same end in mind, right? Everybody's rowing in the same direction. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's what it's
all
all
about.
about.
Say, you're a good leader if people continue to do what you ask them to do after you leave the room.
That's a good one. I don't heard that.
Yeah. So, you came into this role really following a legacy, right? Karim Basile was there for a long. Tell us about that. 15 years as CEO, 43 years there. What's that like, stepping into big shoes?
Well, it is. Well, first of all, let me lead off by we lost Karim probably 2 months ago. Untimely loss, but God rest his soul. But yeah, Karim is he's a legend in this region, not only in transportation, but in this region. Yeah, I stepped into here. Karim was here 43 years, came here as a planner, worked his way up. He was the CEO for 15 years. He brought in 3 BRT lines that were nationally recognized. He was here in 2017, when CDTA was named APTA's best midsize authority. He brought in all this innovation, right? But not only was it internally, he was externally. He was a member of, I can't even count on my fingers and toes how many boards. He was just an integral part of the community, right? He was transportation in this industry, and he retired. So stepping into this role, coming into an authority who was one of the few authorities, definitely the only one in this region who now recovered ridership plus almost 20% more than COVID, right? Having all this innovation, and now he retires and I have to step into the role. And it's Yeah, it's a little unnerving because it's like, wow, when you take over a place that's failing, it's a bit easier because you can only go up. But you know what, though? It was, I rose to the occasion, right? And for me, it was just like, it's not about, continuing or sustaining, I should say, what Carm did. It's just now continuing it, right? It's optimizing, right, what's here. And now it's improving what he's already put in. And then, there was working with the board of directors who hired me. They had some marching orders here, right? And a couple of things there were, hey, we want to know what's next. We've done some great things, but what's next? When we want some focus internally on the employees here. So for me, it was a little unnerving, but I'm really excited about it. And for the short time I was here, I did have a friend in Carm. Carm was out there. He's in the community. Always a phone call away. Never needed to worry that if I couldn't answer a question, that I wouldn't get the answer from him. So. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
That's great. We're talking to Frank Annicaro, who is the CEO of CDTA in Albany, the state capital of New York. When we come back after this short word, we're going to ask him, what is coming next? That's what the board wanted to know, and I want to know what his answer was right after this brief word.
Thanks for listening to the Transit Unplugged podcast. We are so glad you're here. If you're enjoying this show, we know you'll love our other transit industry programs. On Transit Unplugged TV, Paul Comfort explores the food, culture, and transit systems around the globe. You get to see everything. You'll love this show. And every week, we also offer up the Transit Unplugged News Minute, where you can get the latest industry headlines in less than 60 seconds. You can find out more at transitunplugged.com. Now back to Paul Comfort for this edition of the award-winning Transit Unplugged podcast.
And we're back with Frank Annicaro, who is CEO of CDTA in the Capital District around the state capital of New York, Albany, but also serving 6 counties. Frank was just telling us before we dropped out that he had big shoes to fill when he came in and replaced Carm Basile, who'd been 15 years as CEO and a 43-year employee. And Frank, you told me that your board said to you, great, now that we got a new CEO, we want to know what you have in mind. What's next? What did you tell him? And what are you doing about it?
I told them, give me 90 days and let me dig my heels in here and find out what's next, right? And, being the great board they are, they said, yeah, that's great. Let's do it. What's next is we're investing internally in the employees because CDTA expanded so quickly, so fast, so much, so quickly that people were really feeling it, right? The employees were really feeling it. And it was time to, all right, let's just take a breather here, and now let's look internally and see what we need to do to make things just a little bit better inside. So that's what's next here, the employees. But also, I can tell you what's next is Albany is, I believe this is truly the renaissance of Albany. People make jokes and say Albany's been saying that for a long time, but there's a lot of thoughtful plans going on there and collaborations building. So for me, there's no better time than CDTA to take a step in as a leadership role in transit-oriented development. And that's what we're looking at now. We're beginning to look seriously on that. We're hoping to partner with the FTA in some, planning exercises, but yeah, we want to be part of it. And that's truly what's going to be next year. Again, continue to optimize the system. We've rebalanced the system, right? We took over the system that grew so quick. So now it's time to say, hey, what was working? What wasn't working? What do we need to invest in? What do we need to divest in to right this ship a little bit better? So yeah, I think it's the employees become the preferred employer in the region and transit-oriented development. That's where we're headed.
You always find things that you didn't know were coming to you, or there may have been challenges. Just prior to the summer, I think you had some general challenges discovered. What were they?
Well, we were facing a significant budget deficit, right? What had happened was we, being CDTA, experienced a lot of growth. And a lot of that growth was, rightfully, it was a lot of pressure here to grow quick. They needed services all over the place. So reacted to it, was able to add those services. But unfortunately, the operating budget was not keeping pace with that expansion. And truth be told, a lot of the COVID reserve funds were used for that growth. So fiscal year 2026, we used up our last little chunk of COVID relief funds, and now we were a reduced state operating budget. What I want to say is we expected more than we got, So we headed into 26 when I stepped in with a significant budget deficit that was going to severely compound into 27. So it was, immediately, what do we need to do to bridge this? How do we balance it? And how do we make it the littlest impact to the region and the customers? But we did it. We actually balanced our budget, carried over a reserve into the next year so that we could operate with optimal service while we figure out some funding issues here.
Well, you're not the first person that has told me that. Just recently, a major city in the country told me that they were dipping into capital dollars to pay for operating. Another one told me they were using those one-time COVID relief funds for operating dollars to bridge them over. And that really largely defines the cliff that so many people talked about, this fiscal cliff. And you say, how could it be that way? How couldn't you just have it come down? Well, when you use one-time dollars, right, for ongoing expenses, when those one-time dollars run out, suddenly you're off a cliff. And so you have to do some adjusting. Hopefully, you've been able to, especially because you had such an increase in ridership. I mean, after that, you have to put service on the street to cover that, right? Did you say a 20% increase in ridership?
Yeah, 20% increase. Ultimately, CDTA topped out last year at over 18 million rides. Prior to that, we were 15 and a half, 16 million, right? So what brought that ridership post-COVID, right, is adding all the services.
Yeah, right, exactly.
People needed more service. This is a very expansive area. So no matter what, you always need more, right? And it's not only based on riders per hour, although that's a tenet in planning, is necessity, right? So there was so many areas that maybe you had 6 riders per hour on a route, but those 6 riders are our teachers. Those 6 riders are our retail workers. They're going to healthcare appointments. So there was so much need. So CARM really full court press got it out there, raised the ridership, right? So.
Any other tricks or hints you can give people or hacks on, because a lot of agencies are facing this now, how to adjust things to the new budget realities?
You know what? I got to say is, for me, it was no choice but walking in here, utilize the people that are here, that know it. And when I came in here and I brought the team in, I stated the challenge and what the problem was. And you'd be surprised. Most of the team here said, we got the answer. Okay. I said, show it to me. Let's go. The thing that helped us the most was in an alignment with solving this problem. We were just finalizing our transit development plan. And all the tenants in that transit development plan, actually invoking those tenants of that plan, we were able to reduce some service that were really, it was the wrong service in the wrong places, save money, but then reinvest in areas that we needed to. So we actually balanced the budget and we improved on-time performance, right? And internal efficiencies, right? And coming from the MTA, I was always in efficiency mode, and outgoing, we were in a significant efficiency finding mode. So I had a lot of those tools at my disposal. So I brought them here, and with the team, we were able to do it. Now, there's a lot more to do, funding streams, but that's the tricks. It's usually right in front of you. Just utilize the people that know the system in front of you. So.
That's great. What a great idea, right? Talk to the people who are running it day to day and let them come up with the ideas and solutions. And then, right, then they own it. Yeah. It's their solution, right? So it's not just dictated from the top. It's kind of a ground up solution. It's really good, Frank. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I want to do a lightning round at the end of questions to get to know you a little bit more. So let's dive in. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. What's the best book you've read in the last year, and why did it stick with you?
Oh, I've read a lot of them, but one that stuck with me, I'm reading The Team of Rivals now, so I can't say that's a great book, right?
Doris Kearns Goodwin about Lincoln and his rivals, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one, but I finished Saving America by Mark Esch, and I really enjoyed that, right? That's true, putting that into application there. So I would say that was the best one.
I've got it right on my bookshelf behind here somewhere. Yeah, he gave me a signed version a while ago. Great guy.
I'll be on to the finding your X factor next.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, let's talk music. When you're driving alone, what's most likely playing in the car? What type of music do you like?
Well, I got to tell you, usually it's every genre out there. I can go from country to heavy metal to rap music. But now last night, I just went to my first Chicago concert at the Proctor's Theater in Schenectady, New York. And I am transformed. I'll be playing a lot of Chicago now.
Oh, wow. How was it? I love Chicago, man.
Oh, it was incredible. The stamina they had. And I got to say, at their age, the show they put on, it was fantastic. They're truly America's band. So it was great.
Yeah, that is great. That's actually on my bucket list to see Chicago. I've seen U2. I got to see them actually up in your neck of the woods when they did the Joshua Tree tour 9 years ago at Buffalo Bill Stadium.
Oh, wow.
And got to see them there. And that's actually where I started the podcast. Actually, that was my first episode with the CEO of Rochester at the time.
Wow.
And and we saw U2 a couple times, but I got to see him in the Sphere in Vegas, which was amazing. Yeah. So, but Chicago's definitely on the list.
Yeah, they're on tour, so look out for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. That's awesome. All right. If you could have dinner with any transportation leader from history, who would it be and what would you ask them?
Oh man, that's a hard one, right? But recently, because of my focus and interest in TOD, Peter Calthrop, who is the pioneer he's out in the left coast, right? Yeah. The architect of transit-oriented development. So I would love to be able to have dinner with him and, hear how he thinks things are going, progressing, and pick his brain. So
yeah, that's good. Another good one is Frank White, man. He did a great job in Kansas City with TOD, and he's another person to talk to. He's a great guy. I've been impressed with some of his ideas. Okay, one or two more. What's one hobby or passion outside of transit that you have that most people will be surprised to learn?
I'm an avid bow hunter.
Oh, really?
I love the outdoors. I'm a bow hunter. I'm a conservationist for sure, but I love bow hunting. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. And then, all right, now the advice question. What's one piece of advice you would give yourself, the 25-year-old self, as you look back out when you were starting in this industry?
Trust your instincts and intuition. They're not going to steer you wrong. And getting out of your comfort zone is your zone.
I love that.
Yes.
That's great. I got that on my my sign here. It says, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. No, it's backwards.
And of course, you're going to lose your hair. And And when I was 25, I got to say, when I was 25, it's a boy, because my wife would have been pregnant. So,
that's great, man.
Well,
Frank, it's been great getting to know you and hearing about your leadership there in Albany, New York, the great transit system you have there. We wish you the very best as you continue to go into transit-oriented development and all the other things you've got in store. And your great solutions on the budget. Great job, man. And we look forward to seeing you probably, you coming to APTA Expo in Chicago, you think?
We'll be there for sure.
Right, I'll see you there, man.
See you there, Paul.
Hope you enjoyed that great conversation with Frank Annicaro, who made a big transition in his career. After working his way up in one agency, he then jumped to the CEO job in another agency in the same state, talking about that transition. What I found interesting was how they dealt with the fiscal cliff. And I thought it was a great response, right? Ask the people who lead those parts of the agencies, what can we do to be more cost efficient? Because we have a multi-million-dollar deficit we have to deal with perhaps. And what's the best way to handle it? Ask the people who deal with it day to day. Great answer, I thought. I also want to let you know what's going on with Transit Unplugged. About the time you're hearing this, we'll be in Chicago. We're filming there that week with all the transit agencies to come up with a great Transit Unplugged TV show for you there. In August, we'll be filming in Seattle with the transit agencies there. And then in early September, we'll be filming in St. Louis. And right after that, I'll be going over to the Missouri State Transit Association Conference, where I'll be speaking, and I hope to see many of you there who are my friends in Missouri. So that's about it for this episode. Stick with us every week on the podcast. Hopefully you're enjoying the summer. We're trying some different things, some best of shows, and some really cool in-depth on-site interviews. We continually strive to bring you the very best in public transportation information, news, and inspiration, because together we make transit better.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transit Unplugged, the world's #1 transit executive podcast. I'm Julie Gates, executive producer of the podcast. Many thanks to the team that makes this show happen. Host and producer Paul Comfort, producer Chris O'Keefe, editor Patrick Emile, associate producer Cindy Raskin. Transit Unplugged is being brought to you by Midaxo, passionate about moving the world's people. If you would enjoy behind-the-scenes insights and updates from the show, sign up for our weekly newsletter, which has links to can't-miss conversations with the biggest names in mobility. Head to transitunplugged.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Transit Unplugged.